drones are replacing fireworks, while drones are on the hunt for fireworks.
So the idea of using drones to spot for illegal fireworks, that's a great idea. It will be a challenge.
Why there are doubts that a drone can quiet your neighborhood. Speaking of quieting your neighborhood, the war on pickleball is back, and it's coming for Lone Tree. It's a big city tradition with a small town feel, tubas, flags, and a lot of fun. A traffic engineer who purposefully installs signs that look like this sums up zipper merging in a way only my email inbox can.
If you do it right, it's going to work. If you do it wrong, you might have a failure on your hand.
My birthday gift to America is to zip it. Next. For all the people lighting their money on fire tonight setting off illegal fireworks, many professional shows have turned down the volume on their celebrations, turning to drones instead. Drones will also be in the air tonight in search of illegal fireworks. Evan Krugel, live on our helipad with what searching with a drone could look like, Evan.
Yeah, Marshall, Wheat Ridge Police will be trying something brand new tonight with their brand new fleet of drones. They'll be heading up in the air to search for illegal fireworks. Now, the premise here is quite simple. From way up here, they will have quite a show to look at. But figuring out exactly where those fireworks are coming from and getting officers to that location, well, that could prove a bit tricky.
Here at 9 News, we use drones all the time. The aerial perspective is great for seeing what's going on below. And it's one reason more and more law enforcement agencies are turning to the technology.
They're just finding the power of drones and what they do is very helpful.
Greg Dupre teaches Coloradans how to fly drones, including first responders.
The thing I love to talk about to my classes is drones are so new and have such incredible capabilities that students in my classes are going to graduate and go invent new things for their industries to do with drones. In the case of law enforcement, that's happening all the time.
Tonight, police in Wheat Ridge will be doing just that, launching their new drone fleet to search for illegal fireworks.
So the idea of using drones to spot for illegal fireworks, that's a great idea. It will be a challenge.
Greg says those officers have to follow FAA rules. They can't go above 400 feet, and they have to be able to see the drone.
You can't fly a drone farther away than you can see it with your eyes, not, binoculars and telescopes and things, but with your eyes. So they would just need to make sure. Now, the challenge is they want to do this at night.
And finding out exactly where those fireworks are, Greg says good luck.
And also the distance. I mean, is that happening in Wheat Ridge or is it happening in Arvada, or do we worry about it or whatever? I suppose the next idea would be, well, let's launch 2 drones at both ends of the city and then we can triangulate. So that would be an evolution, and they might look at that and say that's the next step we need to take.
Greg credits them for trying something new and says he's eager to see if it results in anything. Worst case, he says they'll have quite a view.
Drones are in the best position of all to film a fireworks show.
Now, this is the view from 300 feet. You can see just how hard it is to see me down here on the 9 News helipad. Now imagine trying to find somebody shooting off a firework at the end of a cul-de-sac in complete darkness. Marshall, we may not know how this actually turns out until tomorrow. The department declined an interview request from us today, but did tell us they plan on using those drones to help concerns with fireworks in the community and also to look for potential fires.
You think Wheat Ridge would want to talk about this and promote it through an interview? Evan, you are one of our drone pilots. Do you think you could spot a firework being shot off illegally, specifically where it was shot off from the ground, using your control with the drone in front of you at night, 400 feet in the air?
I'm going to go on a limb and say it's unlikely, Marshall. I think I could do it if I was much lower. The problem is that visual line of sight, right? I still need to be able to see the drone, which means they won't be able to travel that far away from where they're actually operating their controls. That makes this really, really, really difficult.
You want to work some overtime tonight? Try it out.
Worth a shot.
I won't make you do that. Thank you. I don't have the power to do that. Thanks, Evan. In Denver, getting caught with illegal fireworks could cost you up to $999 in fines and a year in jail. But here's the secret. You might have a better chance at winning the lottery than getting a $999 fine or a year in jail. Denver police tells us officers issued 4 fireworks citations last year, 4 from mid-June to just after the 4th of July, and a grand total of 0 since mid-June this year. Since 2017, DPD has issued 155 fireworks citations. They could get that many complaints just tonight. One reason for the low number of citations, oftentimes the calls come without specific locations of where the fireworks are being shot from. And a reminder, Denver just started an automated response system on the non-emergency line. So if you call that, you won't talk with a human, at least until getting through a few prompts. Okay, it's fireworks weather update now, Lauren. I know I didn't hear as many as I thought I would hear last night. I don't know if the weather had anything to do with it, but it got windy right before I went to bed, and I was starting to freak out from the people who were shooting off fireworks, and then the wind picked up. Anything to worry about that tonight?
Well, you know, we won't worry about any weather tonight. As far as fireworks are involved, I don't know about that. But yes, it did get windy last night behind the cool front that dropped our temperatures this afternoon. Those winds have now calmed down, but temperatures are still nice. We saw a beautiful 4th of July. Right now, a live look over downtown Denver, sunny skies, mild temperatures, 82 degrees right now. Winds coming in from the east-northeast at just 14 miles per hour. Now, we do have an air quality alert in effect again until 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and this is going to be for high levels of ozone across the urban corridor, something we're used to this time of year. And usually we say try and limit your time outside if you're someone with asthma or respiratory sensitivities. I don't know if that's really possible on 4th of July, but just make sure you're monitoring your body with all of those ozone, with the higher ozone levels this afternoon. Now, we do have a red flag warning in effect for southern portions of Park County. These areas want to watch for increased fire weather danger with winds gusting up to 30 miles per hour, 12% relative humidity. Outside of that, a very empty HT Doppler radar across Colorado, and that was fantastic news for anyone with outdoor plans today. We saw a beautiful, perfect 4th of July, if you will. Sunny skies, mild temperatures. What else more could we ask for? It was pretty dry. Now, we've been saying can't rule out a stray pop-up shower here and there, and that's what we saw just north of Fort Collins, making its way near Sterling. But these will be just a few raindrops, if even that reaches the ground. Now, as we go into the overnight hours, we're going to stay pretty dry and mild. Most of us seeing those lows in the 50s with some 30s and 40s in the high country. Tomorrow, temperatures will look a lot like what we saw today, below average, still very comfortable, lower 80s in Denver. We're going to watch for those 70s and 80s all across the Front Range and Eastern Plains, 70s to the high country.
The last thing teachers and students want to hear me say in early July is anything school related. So when I say UPK for Universal Preschool, just pretend I'm saying USA for the 4th of July. The lawsuit between several school districts over the management of UPK was dismissed by a Denver judge. 6 school districts, including Cherry Creek, Westminster, and Brighton, sued the state last year over Universal Preschool. A Denver judge ruled that none of the districts could prove they suffered a harm from the rollout of UPK. The districts wanted the state to cover full-day preschool for the families who found out at the last minute last year that they could only have half-day paid for. And the districts argued that they could be sued if the state matched a special education student to a school that could not accommodate that special education. The districts can still work with lawmakers and the Department of Early Childhood to lobby for real-time changes to UPK. Teller County is breaking state law by cooperating with ICE to hold undocumented immigrants in jail cells. A state court of appeals issued that ruling in a years-long legal battle in the mountains of central Colorado. Colorado Democrats have been chipping away at local law enforcement's ability to cooperate with ICE since 2019. That's when the state legislature passed a law prohibiting local governments from sharing information with ICE or making arrests based solely on civil immigration detainers. Shortly after the law was passed, the ACLU challenged a unique arrangement in Teller County where ICE trains local deputies to arrest and detain immigrants. Court documents say Teller County has used that contract to hold at least 3 people in jail after they were eligible for release. Teller County Sheriff Jason Mikesell has won twice in district court, arguing his deputies are designated immigration officers and act with federal authority. Yesterday, the state court of appeals rejected that argument, saying deputies have to comply with both federal and state law. The court's decision is not the end of this. Earlier this year, several conservative-led local governments sued to overturn the state law and allow local sheriffs to work with ICE. That lawsuit is still ongoing. Just a few weeks after telling parents to pull their kids out of public schools, the Colorado GOP is now asking parents of public school students for help in an effort to block federal protections for LGBTQ students. The group Moms for Liberty sued over the recent update of Title IX protections, which expands federal anti-discrimination policies to explicitly include LGBTQ students. Federal judges have already blocked the updates from taking effect in a dozen states, but a judge in Kansas did something different this week. That judge's order blocks the ruling from taking effect in schools attended by the children of Moms for Liberty and instructs that group to submit a list of those schools by the middle of the month. The Colorado GOP is encouraging their members to join Moms for Liberty in an effort to get a long list of public schools exempt from the federal anti-discrimination rules. In an interview last month, Democratic Attorney General Phil Weiser told us the federal rules being challenged have already been in effect in Colorado for years.
Our state law protections go back to 2008, protecting the learning environment for all students. Colorado state law protects LGBTQ students from discrimination and harassment. Nothing about this federal conversation affects our state law.
The new federal rules are supposed to take effect next month. At least one Colorado school district, Douglas County, is considering whether or not to comply.
We call ours an alternate merge, and we only use it in select locations.
Alternate it, Colorado. Just doesn't have the same ring to it. But hey, it's the same concept. Maybe we should take a page out of Maine's traffic engineer playbook. And just when it seemed like the peace accord would last, the war on pickleball returns. Next. A lightning-sparked wildfire is now 25% contained after nearly 2 weeks of burning. A few neighborhoods in Beulah are still under a pre-evacuation status for the Oak Ridge fire. It has burned nearly 1,200 acres in Pueblo County. AAA predicts 60 million people will travel by car this week. That means 60 million people have opportunities to teach each other how to zipper merge. The naysayers continue to fill my inbox, but I have proof from a Denver intersection today as to why it would work in everyday situations. And perhaps Colorado could learn from the state of Maine, where 2 viewers sent me nearly identical examples of what that state calls an alternate merge. That's just not as catchy, though, as our slogan, Zip It, Colorado. Check out this sign David from Colorado sent us from Maine. No, not the sign about the baptism and picnic at the pond, the zipper sign.
We call ours an alternate merge, and we only use it in select locations to get better lane utilization, usually coming out of a traffic signal.
Alternate merges need to be specifically engineered, according to Maine traffic engineer Stephen Landry, like the one Debbie, also from Colorado, sent to us, also from Maine.
We don't use it every place because it really needs to be constructed. You can't have a normal right-hand lane drop and call it an alternate merge. People don't do it.
Then again, drivers still do not zipper or alternate merge without the specific signage. So why not try it? Here at Hamden in Colorado, the right lane ends in 650 feet. Yet 16 cars are waiting in the lane that continues and just 2 in the lane that still continues until after the stoplight.
We've had some problems with right-hand lane drops where people run people off the road, and it's all about being polite and getting people to work with one another on the roadway.
According to Landry, Maine reserves its alternate merges for areas where both lanes could be seen as ending.
We take advantage of like a curve in the road to end some of these locations because that curve makes it so the right-hand side and the left-hand side are coming in together. If you do it right, it's going to work. If you do it wrong, you might have a failure on your hand.
You heard him. If we do it right, it will work. I want to hear from you. Where should we get footage of areas where zippering exists but does not seem to be used? We showed you Hamden in Colorado today. Earlier in the week, it was Alameda in Quebec. Let me know the zipper opportunity in your area. Next at 9news.com or use the hashtag HeyNext. We have seen several complaints about pickleball noise. Tonight's is verbose.
Doc, 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 doc. I got it on my phone. You want to hear it?
It never gets old. A new lawsuit is ultra descriptive about the racket made with a racket. The war on pickleball now comes with a thesaurus. Next.
This is actually my first time seeing a 4th of July parade, so it's really fun.
And a first fourth for the 14th year of celebrating. Now next. Do you hear that? Do you hear? No. For months now, America's most contentious debate has fallen quiet. Too quiet. But listen closely. You can hear the not-so-distant racket of a ball hitting a racket. Roll the dramatic graphic. Break out the thesaurus of scary-sounding words. The war on pickleball rages, it erupts and causes a new brouhaha in Lone Tree. 5 homeowners are suing the city to shut down pickleball courts at a nearby rec center and saying they can only reopen if a soundproof barrier is built around the courts. The homeowners claim they hear the near-constant sound of pickleballs hitting paddles up to 13 hours a day. One couple wrote in the lawsuit they installed fountains and speakers on their decks and wear headsets, and yet the pickleball noise persists. The homeowners say they paid for their own sound study to prove the noise violates permissible levels, and the lawyers they hired used every adjective in the book to describe the sound. They call the noise obnoxious, offensive, intrusive, unbearable, unreasonable, excessive, dangerous, harmful, unlawful, consistent, impulsive, shrill, a public nuisance, and to round out this CD, an invasion of sound. We've already seen pickleball courts at Denver's Congress and Eisenhower parks closed to noise complaints, and last year Centennial declared a pickleball emergency, implementing court curfews and ordering courts be moved farther away from homes. America is 248 years old. Colorado will be 148 years old next month. And today, Park Hill's 4th of July parade turned 14. Too much math for summertime and holiday fun.
This really feels like a small town neighborhood parade.
Sorry, Jared, hang on a second.
My wife and I grew up in the Chicago suburbs, and when we moved to Denver, we found out there really wasn't a big parade like this, so I guess we were just crazy enough to try to start one ourselves, and that was 14 years ago. My name is Justin Bressler. I am the founder and organizer of the Park Hill 4th of July Parade, now in its 14th year.
We're actually visiting from Georgia. So we come here every year for like the past 3 years. And it's just so welcoming, so family oriented. All of the people are super nice.
It's just very like exciting, homey, very chill, but just fun. It's very fun, you know, a lot of kids, so you can't really go wrong with it.
It's very chill. It's like you feel welcoming. There's really nice people here, and it's just like an open space for people to come.
Happy 4th! This parade is for everyone, no matter who you are, no matter where you're from. We have people coming from all over Denver. We have people coming from all over the region for this parade. We just hear about people whose kids refuse to let them go out of town on the 4th because they have to come to the parade. This is one of the best things I've ever done. I really just love what it gives to the community.
Every town needs something like that. Every city needs something like that. Back with your feedback and some vintage history next. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a relic. Vintage. You thought the 10-cent bag fee was steep. Check out this vintage grocery bag on Facebook Marketplace. $420 a pop. I wonder if that number represents anything. Colorado's plastic bag ban went into effect this year, and stores had to use up their old stock by this past Sunday. If you see something that feels very Colorado-like to you, email it to next@9news.com. We got one feedback. I got a zipper hand gesture for you. I know what it is. It's this. See you next time.